There's something inherently eerie about the notion that there's a fixed path to making someone fall in love with you. It risks turning what should be a magical, instinctive mystery into some mechanical routine. Yet, it's not betraying our true selves to notice that when attraction sparks between people, certain elements often show up in striking ways. In particular, three key dynamics seem to lie at the heart of how love begins. First, curiosity. The clearest sign that love might be brewing is a genuine sense of curiosity. Being drawn to someone starts with this burning desire to learn more about them. It's like having an endless hunger for questions, not just surface-level ones, but those that dig into the essence of who they are, what drives them, who influence their life, and where they're aiming to go. When someone is truly interested in us, we feel it deeply. We hear things like, "Why do you think you didn't stick with them after that?" Or "What made the job not work out in the end?" Or "What do you think made it so tough to speak up?" Or even, "Where might you want to head next?" Of course, these questions need to be handled with care, subtle, respectful, and without any pressure. Often, we don't even realize we're being asked. We just feel compelled to open up. The best kind of listener lingers on what we've shared and gently nudges us to reflect deeper. Maybe with a comment like, "I imagine it must have been hard to muster the energy to leave," or "I wonder if it felt sad knowing they're with someone else now." Nothing's being demanded outright, but creates this inviting space for our thoughts to unfold. What really touches us is curiosity that's attuned to our pain. The kind that's empathetic to the struggles, like not having many friends in college or dealing with an illness early on. We're drawn to someone who isn't just fascinated by our successes. They gently probe into the hurts, like an ex who vanished without closure, a distant father, or a mother whose love came tangled with jealousy and control. Sure, we might bond over shared hobbies or interests, but true intimacy blooms when someone understands and accepts our suffering. Our culture loves to romanticize love start with physical gestures, a kiss, a hug, but real romance kicks off in a quieter, more profound place, with the feeling of being truly seen and known. Second, broad-mindedness. At the same time, opening up like that can be terrifying because we fear judgment. That's why the most captivating people subtly reassure us that they have plenty of space for our quirks and flaws, our weirdness. They don't need to declare it outright, like, "I embrace imperfections and don't judge transgressions." Instead, they reveal it through casual stories from their own lives, maybe admitting, "I once ate 5 packs of biscuits in a row and cried all weekend," or commenting on others in a way that shows they reject narrow ideas of normal or good. Something like, "Why would anyone care what he did, as long as no one got hurt?" This creates a safe haven where we can reveal more of ourselves without facing criticism or shock. Around them, we can let our guard down, admit we're scared, say we can't be bothered, or confess we hate something, and it feels completely okay. Third, kindness. This one sounds almost too simple, but it's absolutely vital. We crave kindness because, deep down, we all need generous, forgiving interpretations of our lives. Why do we mess up? Why are we so sluggish or weak-willed? Why don't we try harder? We have harsh answers ready every day because we're worthless, inadequate, ugly, corrupt, or just plain ordinary. We're experts at beating ourselves up. It's second nature. What we can't do alone is find those kinder explanations. That we had a rough beginning, missed out on lucky opportunities, or needed more support along the way. We dream of lovers who are attractive, tall, or successful. And those are nice traits. But if we're ever going to find a real emotional home, one that shields us from life's storms inside and out, it has to be built on these three foundations: curiosity, broad-mindedness, and kindness. There's something profoundly human about vulnerability in relationships. It's that raw, heart-on-your-sleeve moment where you let someone see the parts of you that aren't polished or perfect. At its core, vulnerability means opening up emotionally, sharing your fears, insecurities, past hurts, or deepest desires, even when there's a risk of rejection or pain. It's not about oversharing everything at once or dumping trauma on someone. Instead, it's a deliberate choice to be authentic, fostering a space where true connection can grow. Think of it as the emotional equivalent of stepping into the light without armor. It can feel terrifying, but it's often the key to deeper intimacy and trust. Why does vulnerability matter so much? In relationships, whether romantic, familial, or platonic, it acts like the glue that holds people together. Without it, bonds stay surface level. You might share hobbies or daily updates, but you miss out on the empathy and understanding that come from revealing your inner world. Researcher Brené Brown, who spent years studying this, calls vulnerability the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, creativity, and connection. It's courage in action, the willingness to show up and be seen, despite uncertainty and risk. When you let someone in on your struggles, like admitting you're scared of failure or still healing from a past betrayal, it invites them to do the same, creating a cycle of mutual support. The benefits are powerful and multifaceted. First, it eases anxiety by helping you acknowledge and process painful emotions instead of bottling them up. When you validate your feelings, saying out loud, "I'm feeling overwhelmed right now," it signals to your brain that these emotions aren't threats to avoid, reducing overall stress over time. Second, it strengthens relationships by building trust and intimacy. Sharing vulnerabilities leads to greater empathy, as your partner gets a fuller picture of who you are, flaws and all. For instance, opening up about a childhood insecurity might help your loved one respond with more compassion during tough moments. Third, it boosts self-awareness, uncovering hidden patterns or defense mechanisms that might be holding you back. Overall, vulnerability reduces miscommunication, minimizes resentment, and paves the way for honest accountability, turning potential conflicts into opportunities for growth. Of course, it's not without risks. Opening up can expose you to judgment, manipulation, or heartbreak if shared with the wrong person, someone who might use your disclosures against you or dismiss your feelings. In unhealthy dynamics, like abusive relationships, vulnerability might not be safe at all, as it could lead to further harm. There's also the emotional sting of rejection. If you bare your soul and it's met with indifference, it can reinforce fears of unworthiness. That's why vulnerability should be earned gradually, through consistent trust building. So, how do you cultivate it? Start small. Share a minor insecurity or a recent experience that stirred emotions, like, "I felt dismissed when that happened at work today," using I statements to focus on your feelings rather than blame. Name your fears aloud. It can make them feel less overwhelming. Model it by being open first, and ask gentle, open-ended questions to encourage your partner, such as, "What was that like for you?" Reflect on your own barriers, maybe past hurts or family patterns that taught you to hide, and consider therapy if needed to unpack them. Remember, it's a two-way street. Respond to others' vulnerability with kindness and without judgment to create a safe space. In the end, embracing vulnerability transforms relationships from mere companionship into profound partnerships. It's messy and scary, but as Brown puts it, it's also where the magic happens. The joy, the belonging, the real love. By letting down our guards, we not only connect more deeply with others, but also discover a stronger, more authentic version of ourselves. If you felt stuck in superficial ties, leaning into this could be the shift that brings you closer to the intimacy you crave. Vulnerability in relationships isn't just some abstract concept. It's the real, gut-wrenching moments where you choose to let someone see the messy, unfiltered parts of you. Let me share some personal examples, drawn from common experiences I've heard and reflected on, to make this feel more tangible. These stories show how showing up authentically can deepen bonds, heal old wounds, and sometimes even save a connection that's on the rocks. I'll break them down with what happened, why it worked or didn't, and what you could take away. Example 1. The work meltdown confession, building trust in a new relationship. Picture this. Sarah and Mike had been dating for 3 months. Things were fun, dinners, hikes, laughs, but it felt like they were still skating on the surface. One night, after a brutal day at her marketing job where a big presentation tanked, Sarah came home exhausted and snappy. Instead of brushing it off with "I'm fine," she took a deep breath and said, "Mike, I'm freaking out. I bombed that pitch today, and it made me feel like a total failure, like I'll never be good enough for this career. I hate how it brings up all my old insecurities from when my dad always criticized my school projects. What made it vulnerable? She didn't just vent about the day. She linked it to her deeper fears of inadequacy, rooted in childhood. It was raw. No makeup, no deflection. The impact, Mike didn't try to fix it right away. He pulled her into a hug and shared, "I get that. I felt the same way after my first big sales flop. Thought I'd lose my job and disappoint everyone." That night, they stayed up talking until 2 a.m., swapping stories of professional lows. Suddenly, their connection felt electric, like they'd crossed an invisible threshold. Months later, Sarah said it was that moment that made her fall harder because she finally felt seen, not just dated. Takeaway: start with a current trigger, like a bad day, to reveal a deeper layer. It invites reciprocity without overwhelming the other person. Vulnerability here turned casual dating into something real. Example 2. Admitting loneliness in a long-term marriage, rekindling intimacy. Tom and Lisa had been married for 12 years, with 2 kids and a packed schedule. They'd fallen into a routine of logistics and small talk, but the spark was gone. One evening, after the kids were asleep, Tom mustered the courage during a quiet moment on the couch. "Lisa, I love you, but I've been feeling so lonely lately. Even with you right here, I miss us, the way we used to share dreams. I think I've been hiding how scared I am that we're drifting apart, and it's my fault for not speaking up sooner." What made it vulnerable? He owned his emotions fully. No blaming her for being too busy or the kids for taking over. He exposed his fear of loss and took responsibility, which is scary in a committed relationship where resentment can fester. The impact? Lisa teared up and admitted she'd felt the same, but assumed he was fine. They started a weekly no-kids talk date where they'd check in honestly. It wasn't perfect, they argued through some stuff, but it reignited their emotional intimacy. They even went to couples therapy, which Tom credits to that initial crack in his armor. Today, they describe their marriage as stronger than ever. Takeaway: in long-term relationships, vulnerability combats emotional distance. Use "I feel" statements to express unmet needs without accusation. It can shift stagnation into growth. Example 3. Coming out about past trauma, navigating friendship boundaries. My friend Alex had a tight-knit group of guy friends from college. One night at a bar, the conversation turned to dating horror stories. Instead of laughing it off, Alex paused and said, "Guys, can I be real? My last breakup wrecked me. Not just because she left, but because it brought back memories of my parents' messy divorce when I was a kid. I still panic in relationships, thinking everyone will abandon me. I've been pretending I'm over it, but I'm not." What made it vulnerable? Among bros who bond over sports and beers, admitting ongoing pain from trauma felt risky, like he'd be seen as weak or high maintenance. The impact? There was an awkward beat, but then Jake shared his own story about his dad's alcoholism, and suddenly the group opened up. They became each other's sounding boards, planning more intentional hangouts beyond partying. Alex later said it transformed their friendship from fun to foundational. He felt less alone in his struggles. But a cautionary flip side: not everyone responded perfectly. One friend, Mark, pulled back, uncomfortable with the heavy stuff. It hurt, but Alex realized it weeded out superficial ties, strengthening the core group. Takeaway: test waters in friendships with graduated shares. If met with empathy, it deepens loyalty. If not, it clarifies who's worth your energy. Vulnerability isn't reckless, it's discerning. Example 4. The risky rejection, when it backfires, and how to recover. Jenna was head over heels for her coworker, Ryan. After months of flirting, she gathered her nerve at an office happy hour. "Ryan, I need to tell you something that's been eating at me. I really like you, but I'm terrified because my last relationship ended with me feeling worthless. I keep overthinking if you'd even want someone with my baggage." What made it vulnerable? She laid her heart and insecurities bare, blending confession with self-doubt, super exposed in a professional setting. The impact? Ryan was kind but firm. "I appreciate your honesty, Jenna, but I see you as a friend." Ouch! It stung like hell, reinforcing her fears. But here's the silver lining. She didn't spiral into shame. She journaled, talked to a therapist, and leaned on friends. Over time, that rejection built her resilience. She later met someone who did embrace her fully. Jenna now says, "It hurt, but hiding my truth would have hurt more long-term." Takeaway: vulnerability can lead to rejection, but it honors your authenticity and accelerates healing. Treat it as data, not defeat. Protect yourself with support systems afterward. Example 5. Family healing through shared pain, bridging generational gaps. Elena had a strained relationship with her mom, rooted in years of unspoken resentment over her parents' divorce. During a holiday visit, instead of the usual surface chit-chat, Elena said, "Mom, I've been angry for so long about how Dad left, but lately I've realized you were hurting too. I wish I'd asked sooner. What was that time like for you? I feel guilty for shutting you out. What made it vulnerable?" She admitted her anger and regret, inviting her mom's story without defensiveness, a bridge over old wounds. The impact? Her mom broke down, sharing how abandoned she felt. It was the first real conversation in years. They didn't fix everything overnight, but it started weekly calls and mutual apologies. Elena describes it as freeing, like lifting a weight she'd carried alone. Takeaway: in family ties, vulnerability mends fractures by humanizing each other. It's never too late. Focus on curiosity about their pain to soften your own. These stories aren't fairy tales. They're messy, human, and full of stakes. But notice the pattern. When vulnerability is met with kindness, like in the first 4, it forges unbreakable bonds. Even in rejection, it empowers you to seek better matches. The key? Pace yourself. Start small, read the room, and have boundaries. If someone's response feels dismissive or hurtful, it's okay to pull back. If you're craving more connection, try this tonight. Pick one person and share something true but tender, like, "I've been feeling X lately because Y." You might be surprised how it ripples outward. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the bravest path to the love and belonging we all ache for. What's one vulnerable step you could take? I'd love to hear if you're up for sharing. Vulnerability in romantic relationships is where the magic and the messiness truly shines. It's that electric moment when you drop the facade and let your partner see the real you. The scars, the quirks, the dreams you barely admit to yourself. In love, these moments aren't just bonding exercises. They're the foundation of lasting passion and trust. Below, I'll share 5 deeply personal examples, inspired by real stories I've encountered and reflected on, from romantic partnerships at different stages. Each one highlights what was shared, why it felt so risky, the outcome, and a practical takeaway. These aren't polished rom-coms. They're raw, human, and transformative. Example 1. The fear of abandonment. Reveal: early dating, sparking deep connection. The story: Emma and Jake had been on 5 dates, great chemistry, flirty banter, but still in that keeping it light phase. One night, walking home from dinner, Emma's phone buzzed with a text from an ex. Nothing major, just a casual check-in. It triggered her old panic. Instead of playing it cool, she stopped, turned to him, and said, "Jake, this is embarrassing, but seeing that text made my heart race. I've been left twice before, and it left me terrified of getting close. I like you a lot, and I'm scared I'll mess this up or you'll bolt." Why vulnerable? Early on, admitting a core insecurity feels like handing over emotional dynamite. She exposed her baggage before they were official, risking him seeing her as too much. The impact: Jake paused, then shared, "Emma, my last relationship ended because I was the one who ran, scared of commitment. Seeing you open up like this, it makes me want to stay." They talked for hours on a park bench. That honesty fast-tracked their bond. They became exclusive 2 weeks later. Emma says it was the moment she knew he was keeper material. Her vulnerability invited his, creating mutual safety. Takeaway: in new romance, use a timely trigger, like jealousy or doubt, to share a fear. It accelerates intimacy without overwhelming. Think, "I'm scared because," to frame it as an invitation, not a complaint. Example 2. Admitting sexual insecurities, mid-relationship, reigniting physical intimacy. The story. After 6 months together, Priya and Alex's sex life had cooled. The spark was there emotionally, but physically it felt routine. One evening in bed, Priya took a breath and whispered, "Alex, I love being with you, but I've been faking confidence in bed because I worry my body isn't what you want. Growing up, I was always compared to my perfect sister, and it made me feel inadequate. Can we talk about what turns us on for real? Why vulnerable? Sex is already intimate. Layering on body image, shame, and family trauma? That's stripping bare, literally and figuratively. Rejection here could shatter self-esteem. The impact. Alex was stunned but grateful. Priya, you're stunning to me, but I get it. I felt the same about my stamina after my injury. They experimented openly. Slower touches, honest feedback, even a playful yes/no/maybe list of fantasies. Their physical connection exploded. Not just hotter, but more tender. Priya later called it liberating. It turned a rut into their most passionate phase. Takeaway. Address bedroom blocks head-on with curiosity, not blame. Frame it as us versus the issue, e.g., I've been holding back because vulnerability here rebuilds desire through trust. Example 3. Confessing a deal-breaker, habit, long-term commitment, testing resilience. The story. Married 3 years, Sophia and Raj were house hunting when finances got tight. Sophia had been hiding a shopping habit that drained their savings. Guilt from her immigrant parents' emphasis on providing. During a tense budget talk, she broke down, "Raj, I need to come clean. I've been impulse buying clothes online to cope with stress, and it's why we're short every month. I hate that I'm sabotaging us. It's like my mom's voice in my head saying I'm failing as a wife." Why vulnerable? In committed love, admitting a flaw that affects shared goals, money, stability, risks blame or resentment. She owned the shame tied to her identity, fearing it could end them. The impact. Raj hugged her, "Sophia, we're a team. I've been avoiding money talks because my dad went bankrupt. I get the fear." They created a joint fund for guilt-free spending and saw a financial counselor. It didn't fix overnight, but it deepened their partnership. Raj says it made him love her flaws and all more fiercely. Takeaway. For practical issues like money or chores, lead with ownership. I did X because Y, and invite collaboration. It turns conflicts into we problems, strengthening commitment. Example 4. Sharing a dark past secret, rebuilding after betrayal, forgiveness and renewal. The story. After discovering Mar had emotionally cheated, texts with a coworker, Lena was ready to leave their 5-year relationship. In couples therapy, Mark went deep. "Lena, the affair started because I felt worthless after my promotion denial. But that's no excuse. I've never told you about the abortion I pressured my college girlfriend into. It haunts me. I was selfish and scared. I want to be better for us." Why vulnerable? Post-betrayal, truth-telling is high stakes. Could confirm her worst fears or reopen his guilt. Revealing a buried trauma showed rock-bottom honesty. The impact. Lena cried, but felt his remorse was real. That explains your walls, Mark. They committed to transparency, weekly check-ins, individual therapy. It took a year, but they rebuilt stronger, engaged now, with Lena saying, "His vulnerability saved us. It proved he chose me over his shame." Takeaway. After trust breaks, share the why behind behaviors with full context, past pain. Pair it with action, therapy, changes to show growth. It can turn wreckage into wisdom. Example 5. Expressing unmet emotional needs, end of honeymoon phase, preventing drift. The story. 2 years in, Chris and Taylor's honeymoon glow faded amid work stress. Chris felt Taylor pulling away emotionally. Over coffee one morning, he said, "Taylor, I miss you. Not just physically, but feeling connected. I've been pretending I'm okay with our quick goodnights, but it hurts because my parents' marriage was so cold. I need more of those deep talks we used to have to feel loved." Why vulnerable? Asking for emotional needs risks seeming needy or rocking the boat. Linking to family patterns exposed his inner child, super intimate mid-relationship. The impact. Taylor admitted, "I've been distant because I'm scared of depending on you after my ex ghosted me." They instituted pillow talks before bed. No phones, just hearts open. It pulled them closer. Taylor proposed 6 months later, crediting Chris's honesty for reminding her why she fell in love. Takeaway. Voice longing softly, "I miss us because," to avoid demands. It reawakens romance by naming what's fading, turning routine into renewal. These romantic tales show vulnerability as romance's secret sauce. It strips away illusions, fosters empathy, and keeps love evolving. Notice the common threads. Timing. Use real moments as entry points. Ownership. "I feel this because," and reciprocity. It invites their story. Sure, it can backfire. If they're emotionally unavailable, it highlights incompatibility fast. But when met with grace, it creates us against the world magic. The risk? Heartache if unreciprocated, but hiding guarantees stagnation. In love, vulnerability isn't a one-time stunt. It's ongoing practice. Try this. Tonight, share one tender truth with your partner, like "Something I haven't told you is." Watch how it shifts the air between you. What's a vulnerable moment you've had in romance? Sharing here could spark your own breakthrough. Vulnerability in LGBTQ plus romantic relationships carries an extra layer of courage and complexity. It's not just about baring your soul to a partner. It's often laced with the weight of societal stigma, family rejection, internalized fears, and the very real risks of being out in a world that isn't always kind. Yet, in queer love, these raw moments of openness can forge bonds that feel revolutionary. Safe harbors where you can finally exhale and be whole. Drawing from real stories, shared anonymously in communities, therapy sessions, and personal reflections I've encountered, here are 5 intimate examples from LGBTQ plus romances at different stages. Each highlights the unique stakes, the emotional payoff, and actionable insights for navigating this terrain. Example 1. Coming out mid-relationship, early dating, embracing identity together. The story. Alex, non-binary, they slash them, and Jordan, he slash him, have been dating for 2 months, sharing steamy makeouts and late-night talks. But Alex hadn't fully disclosed their gender journey. One rainy evening, cuddled on the couch watching the L Word, Alex's heart pounded as they said, "Jordan, there's something huge I need to share. I'm non-binary, not just questioning, but knowing. I've been on hormones for a year, but hiding it because my last partner bailed when I came out. I like you so much, and I'm terrified you'll see me differently now." Why vulnerable? In early queer dating, revealing your full identity risks instant rejection, especially if apps or first impressions framed you differently. For trans and non-binary folks, it's life-altering. One wrong reaction could trigger dysphoria or safety fears. The impact. Jordan teared up, squeezing their hand. "Alex, thank you for trusting me. I've dated across the spectrum, but this, it makes me like you more. Your strength is hot." They dove into education together, reading genderqueer, trying new name/pronoun affirmations. It bonded them instantly. They're engaged now, with Jordan crediting Alex's honesty for their unshakable foundation. Takeaway. Time your identity reveal to a trusting moment, like shared media, framing it as "This is me, and I choose you to see it." In queer spaces, it often sparks allyship and deeper attraction. Many partners feel honored. 2. Admitting family rejection trauma, mid-relationship, healing intergenerational wounds. The story. Maria, she slash her, lesbian, and Sam, they slash them, non-binary lesbian, had been together a year, building a cozy life in a progressive city. But Maria's Catholic family disowned her 5 years ago after she brought Sam to a holiday. During Pride Month, over gelato, Maria cracked open, "Sam, I've been pretending I'm over my family cutting me off, but it still guts me. I feel unlovable, like I'll never be enough for anyone, especially you. What if my brokenness rubs off?" Why vulnerable? Queer folks often carry chosen family vibes, but unprocessed rejection can fester into self-sabotage. Sharing this mid-relationship risks seeming damaged goods, especially if your partner has their own trauma. The impact. Sam shared their own story of being kicked out at 16. Maria, we're both survivors. That's why we're magic together. They created rituals, annual fuck you, family, bonfires for old letters, and therapy focused on queer-affirming reparenting. Maria says it melted her walls. Their love became a defiant celebration of resilience. Takeaway. Link personal pain to queer-specific experiences. This rejection shaped my fears because it fosters trauma bonding positively. Use it to co-create healing traditions, turning shared scars into strengths. 3. Navigating sexual identity exploration. Long-term commitment. Expanding intimacy. The story. After 5 years, Kai, he/him, by/Pan, and Riley, she/her, queer, were solid, engaged, co-owning a dog. But Kai had been questioning his attraction to men beyond fantasy. During a weekend getaway, he confessed over wine, "Riley, I love us, but I've been fantasizing about threesomes with guys. It's not about leaving you. It's exploring this by side. I suppressed growing up straight passing. I'm scared it'll break us or make you doubt my love." Why vulnerable? In monogamous queer relationships, admitting fluid desires can evoke biphobia fears, you'll leave for a man, or polyamory assumptions. It's exposing a core shift, risking the relationship's foundation. The impact. Riley, who'd questioned her own queerness, admitted, "Kai, I've wondered about women too. Let's explore together." They read The Ethical Slut, attended a bi+ meetup, and opened ethically with clear boundaries. It supercharged their sex life and trust. Riley calls it our queer glow-up. They're poly now, thriving. Takeaway. Frame exploration as our adventure. I've been curious because in LGBTQ+ love, fluidity is common. Vulnerability here can evolve your partnership without ending it. See community resources to normalize it. 4. Disclosing HIV status. Rebuilding after crisis. Radical acceptance. The story. Post-diagnosis. Theo, he/him, gay, was terrified to tell his boyfriend of 3 years, Leo, he/him. Undetectable and on meds, but stigma loomed. One night, after a routine checkup, Theo knelt by their bed. "Leo, I love you more than anything, but I tested positive last month. I'm healthy. Undetectable equals untransmittable. But I feel dirty, like I've tainted us. Will you still want me?" Why vulnerable? HIV stigma in gay communities persists, despite medical advances. Disclosing risks abandonment, slut-shaming, or intimacy loss. It's a literal life-or-death trust test. The impact. Leo held him. "Theo, you're still my home. We'll navigate this as a team." They joined support groups, got prepped for Leo, and it deepened their commitment. Theo says, "His grace made me love myself again." Married now, they advocate for you equals you awareness. Takeaway. Lead with facts plus emotions. I'm healthy, but I feel X because. Prep with education. Share CDC links. In queer resilience culture, this can birth fierce loyalty. Many couples emerge unbreakable. 5. Confronting internalized homophobia. End of honeymoon. Cultural reckoning. The story. Trans couple Jamie, they/them, trans mask, and Taylor, he/him, gay trans man. Hit turbulence in year 2, snapping over roles echoing Jamie's evangelical past. On a mountain hike, Jamie unleashed. "Taylor, I push you away because I still hear my family's voice calling my butch self-sinful. I'm scared you want a real man, not this half-broken me." The stakes. Internalized homophobia/transphobia is a stealth assassin. Admitting it feels like queer treason, risking identity doubts or rejection. The magic. Taylor stopped, cupped their face. "Jamie, we're both unlearning that poison. Your butch is my wildfire. I'd choose you in every universe." Queer therapy, disclosure marathons, playful role reversals dissolve the shame. Jamie proposed under that same mountain sky. Their love now a triumphant middle finger to bigotry. Lesson. Name your shadows, they lose power. Vulnerability in queer love dismantles shame. building cathedrals of self-acceptance. The beautiful final lesson: vulnerability is queer love's holy fire. These stories aren't exceptions. They're the heartbeat of LGBTQ plus romance. Vulnerability here isn't weakness. It's alchemy. It transforms survival into sanctuary, from closets to chosen arms, shame into sacred. Scars become love letters written on skin, fear into family. Individual battles become collective victories, stigma into strength. Personal truths become communal beacons. The ultimate truth: in LGBTQ plus love, vulnerability is revolutionary worship. It's saying, I survived to be this tender with you. It's the drag queen dropping the mic after spilling her soul. The poet screaming their truth from rooftops. The couple holding hands at the altar, knowing they chose each other over every force that tried to break them. Queer vulnerability proves love isn't found. It's forged in the crucible of courageous hearts. When you bear your beautifully broken self and arms open instead of fists clench, you've co-created a miracle. You've built a love that doesn't just endure, it transcends. Your invitation: tonight, whisper one hidden truth to your beloved. The part of me I hid longest is. Watch the heavens crack open. Because in LGBTQ plus romance, every vulnerable moment is a revolution. Every open heart a victory. Every I choose you, whole a world remade. And remember, the greatest love story you'll ever tell isn't to the world. It's the one you finally dared tell yourself. You are enough. You are worthy. You are their miracle.